Welcome back. This is a research presentation workshop 4. So you should have your slides all finished and all of your speaker's notes, all the stuff that we were required to put in your speaker's notes done. So now we're to step 12, which is actually recording your presentation. So you want to use screen recording software like Screencastify or Loom to make a video of your presentation. And your video should show both you and your slides. You do need to embed your webcam into your screencast. And then you also can use your speaker's notes to help you. You want to keep in mind that you should be saying much more than what's on your slides. In fact, there shouldn't really be much of anything written on your slides. It's mostly pictures. So you're saying things that are related to the pictures. You're using information from your sources. You're developing those ideas. Remember, this is taking the place of a paper. So you are fleshing out the details that you've kind of outlined with your slides. You should be referencing the visuals that the audience is seeing on your slides during this time as well, so that the connection between what you're saying and what they're seeing is clear. All right. So the first thing that I want to do with you before we start talking about how to record your presentation is I want to remind everybody of what you are going to be graded on. So let's take a quick peek at the presentation rubric. So you can see that there are a large amount of points for your actual slides. So what you want to make sure that you have is all of those MLA format citations that we put into our speaker notes and the lead-ins, the little introductions to each of our quotes. You want to make sure that visual elements are indeed dominating the slides. They should be attractive and readable and demonstrate proper grammar. So you do need to proofread your slides as well. It's really important. You don't want to have a bunch of glaring errors on your slides. It's distracting and it really takes away from your credibility as a speaker because it makes you look not very smart. So make sure that you are proofreading your slides and that, there aren't glaring errors with like capitalization and spelling, for example. You also are supposed to be using your visual aids at an appropriate pace to support and enhance the presentation. And if you've constructed the slides as you've been directed, it should do that. Now you'll notice that there are points that go to verbal effectiveness and nonverbal effectiveness. So how you say this and how you look when you are speaking is going to be part of your grade. You need to make sure that your vocal tone is animated and expressive. So you don't want to fall into a monotone. You don't want to have a very mechanical, boring sounding voice. You also need to make sure that your vocal volume is appropriate. So this is where making sure that next class, when I tell you to do this, that you do actually watch your video is important. You want to make sure that I can hear everything that you're saying, that you don't get too quiet in parts, that you don't, for some reason, for volume reasons, need to re-record. You also need to make sure that your speech is fluent. So you don't want it to be too quick. You want it to appear practiced. So you want it to be free of hesitation and filler words like like. And you want pauses to have purpose. You don't want to have awkward pauses where we're just wondering, like, when are you going to start talking again? As far as nonverbal effectiveness goes, you are being scored on eye contact, so you should be making eye contact with the camera most of the time. You'll notice as I'm making this video that most of the time I'm looking at the camera. Sometimes I look away for a brief second, but then I look right back at it. And that's how you're going to show that you're making eye contact. The other nonverbal component is your posture. So you want to make sure that you're sitting up straight, that your posture is confident and professional, and that your facial expressions are not distracting, and that you're not doing things with your hands, touching your face and stuff like that would be distracting. As far as the content of your presentation goes, there's a lot of points that are going to content. Remember, this is the equivalent of a paper. So you need to, fill the time with meaningful information. You need to have a well-developed introduction that identifies the main research question and includes a clear claim or thesis statement. You need to have 3 easily identifiable main points, which they should be easily identifiable if you have a slide about each one. You need to make sure that you're using relevant evidence from your sources and that you're including your own explanations with those to support your 3 main points. Your content should be presented in a clear order, so organization does matter, and your conclusion needs to restate the claim, recap the main ideas, and provide closure. As I suggested in the last workshop, you probably want to be ending with a call to action. The last thing that you'll notice on the rubric is length. Now, you don't get points for meeting the length. However, if you don't meet the length, points will be deducted from your score. It is a half a point for every 15 seconds that you are under the minimum length. Right. So that is how you're being scored on your research presentation. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is how to get your speaker notes. So you put all these things in the notes below your slides, and you're obviously going to want to be able to look at those things while you're speaking. Those are your notes to speak from. They'll remind you of what you wanted to say. Is it everything that you're saying? No, it shouldn't be. You should be saying more than what is written there, but it gives you your jumping off point. So to get these, you're going to open up your slides. You're going to go to File. You're going to go to Print Settings and Preview. And you're going to tell it to do slide with notes, and then your screen will look like mine. So if you're doing this electronically, you can download it as a PDF and then email it to yourself, and then you could pull it up on your phone while you use your Chromebook to do the presentation. If you're fortunate enough to have a printer, you can print out the pages so you can hold them in front of you. If you're coming in person, you can ask me to print out your pages, and I will, give you the hard copy to work with. Any of those options will work. So that is how you get your speaker notes. Now, finally, for how to record this, I would recommend that you use Loom. If you've used Screencastify before, that is totally fine to use. It'll work. I just know that many students have encountered problems with Screencastify this year, getting it to even record. If it will work for you, great. It'll work perfectly then. But if you're having sign-in issues, it's not letting you, people are having issues where it's not letting them sign in with their Google account, and then they can't make any recordings. If you run into that issue, or you don't want to even put yourself in a position where that might be an issue, Loom is the place to go. So that's why I'm demonstrating this with Loom, because I think that Loom has given people less problems this year. I have not had anybody try to use Loom that couldn't get it to work. So you're going to go ahead and go to the Chrome Web Store, and you're going to search for Loom, and you're going to download Loom for Chrome. So go ahead and do that right now, get it installed, and go ahead and pause this video until you have that done. All right, now that you have downloaded Loom, we're going to come back over to our research paper tab, our research presentation tab. We're going to close the preview. Now I have my slides. Now I'm ready to start presenting. I have my notes. I have Loom downloaded. I'm ready to record. So you're going to go up to the menu bar here, and you're going to look for the Loom icon. It looks almost like a blue sun. If you don't see it, you can click the puzzle piece, and then it'll be in your list of extensions. But when you click on it, it pops up a window that looks like this. You're going to want to make sure it says screen and camera so that you get this little pop-up bubble in the corner. You can even make this bubble bigger if you want, so we can see a little bit better. And then you'll just click Start Recording. And it'll count down. Oh, at first it'll ask you what part of your screen you want to share. You'll select, and then it'll count down and start recording for you. You'll notice that the time shows up right here. So whenever, you get this started, you're ready to start presenting, you just click present. And it will start presenting for you. And when you're done, you click check mark. And it'll take you to a page with your video. And now you can go to this little drop down. Oops, this little menu. Sorry, the little 3 dots. And it'll allow you to download your video. Oops. It'll also have a share link that you can copy. You can copy your video link, or you can download it. Either way will work. And we'll talk about, depending on which way you chose, how you turn that in when we get to that step next class. Or in 2 classes, rather. All right, so that is how you use Loom to record. And that is all we have for this workshop. You're just recording your piece, and we'll take a look at it and go through our pre-submission checklist next class, and make sure that you don't need to give it another whirl. The nice thing about doing this recording is you can stop and start over as many times as you need to get it just perfect. So don't be afraid to record it more than once. You probably will need to, and it's probably not a good idea if you don't. You probably want to do more than one take. All right. So email me with questions, and we'll see you at the next workshop.